Hi guys, this is Stuti Gogia. In case you are listening this voice for the very first time, you can go check out my social media handles. And this is season 4 of Stuti Speaks. And today I have a very special guest with me whose name is Charvi. First of all, thank you Charvi for saying yes to the podcast. Charvi is a professional writer who writes films, novels and poetry. After graduating as dental surgeon, she went to a film school to pursue her dream of becoming a writer, and then she became an Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant and a yoga guru too. She has recently started her own lifestyle and creative brand, and she's also into Vedic studies and Upanishad. So, I mean, today in this podcast, we'll try to explore more or less all of these areas and how your journey was throughout this process, and whatever you want to add on to it. I would really want to know your insights about it. तो over to Charvi, over to you. अपना थोड़ा सा और इंट्रो दे दो, मैंने कुछ मिस कर दिया वो बता दो, एंड देन वी कैन टेक कॉन्वर्सेशन फ्रॉम देयर.
Thank you so much, Stuti, for calling me on this podcast. For me, I am recording a podcast for the first time, so I am more excited. And yes, as you said, writing and poetry is my domain. And apart from that, now I am a yoga instructor and Ayurvedic life consultant. Um, it came in a way that my father was in the army, and we used to travel a lot. And I have grown around nature, around trees. So as a kid, I have learned martial arts as well.
वाओ.
So for me, that environment was very important, and maintaining the nature and maintaining your body, I feel, is our duty, because our soul resides in our body. It's the vehicle, it's the temple in which our
Yes.
soul is. So first is to honor ourselves and to honor our surrounding, and then we can go ahead about talking about spirituality or environment or any other issue.
Yeah,
So
yeah, sure. Yeah, so I think we can start with the first pointer, which is like how do you think that humans and nature are so interconnected with each other? How does that revelation came to you? Like, what was your point that I'm so connected to nature, I want to do everything? Yeah, something on that
yes.
lines.
I would say, how in old stories we used to hear that, plants can talk and animals can communicate with you. So as a kid, I have, I used to, in my garden, I used to, talk to my plants. I used to, touch
Wow.
them. Yeah. And they connect. Of course, our language is different, but every living organism can connect with you.
Sure. I agree.
So, yeah, I think that is one big thing. If we look very consciously and if we go deeper into understanding life, it will automatically come. And yoga is the process through which you can do that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So how did your yoga journey started? Like what was the point when you started yoga and you wanted to come into point that I want to teach yoga, maybe I want to learn in detail, and we are talking about Hatha yoga. I feel there are four parts of yoga, and correct me if I'm wrong. I feel that we have Hatha yoga, Karam yoga, Bhakti yoga and Gyan yoga. So
Yes.
Bhakti, Gyan and Karam. Bhakti is like your mantra chantings. Gyan is knowledge, everything knowledge is Gyan yoga, and then karam yoga is whatever we are doing is karam yoga, like whatever we are doing as an action or actor is a karma yoga. So we are here talking about hat yoga, because rest everything we are doing in some or other form, we just don't know it that we are doing it, but those three yoga are continuously in process of our journey, right? So yeah.
So, yeah, since you asked about Hatha Yoga, apart from these other forms, so because Hatha Yoga means Ha and Tha, which is
Hmm.
sun and the moon energy.
Wow.
So, yeah, so
ये नहीं पता था मुझे.
if you
Amazing.
balance it,
Hmm.
then the other forms of yoga also come into balance. If
Okay.
you want to do your karma the best, if you want to indulge in bhakti the best, if you want to gain knowledge the best, if your sun and moon energy, your feminine and masculine, or let us say when we are breathing our left and right nostril, if that breath is controlled, that is why we say pranayama. Pranayama means giving ayam or direction to the prana. So when you give the direction to the prana, then you can bring it to balance, and that is how you can bring every other thing that you are doing into balance. It can be very small thing like doing your daily routines, or it can be big decisions that you're going to take in life.
Hmm. So, like we were coming to, how did your Hatha Yoga journey started?
Yeah. So in 2014, I had gone through a very bad phase in college where I was doing no physical exercise, no good food, and it had gotten my grades also down, and it created a upheaval in my mental and physical life.
Hmm.
So then I, went into therapy, and I was on antidepressants. And then I realized that, they harm the body much more than to, cure it.
Hmm.
That's how I realized that I have to cure myself from inside. And that
Hmm.
can only happen when you perform something or do something, a system which, how Sadhguru says, inner engineering.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
engineering has to happen from inside,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And because I had that previous experience of playing sports and being into martial arts, I know that when you do a physical activity, you release a lot of stress from the body.
Yeah. So true. So
Yeah.
true. Hmm.
Physical
Hmm.
activity is the major key component which
Hmm.
can take out all the stress from your body to a very large extent.
Hmm. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So when that happens, a lot of mental clarity also comes.
Hmm. Hmm.
And when you combine it with your breath, then your whole system will work for you, not against you.
Wow. Amazing. Hmm. Hmm.
Yes.
The life is passing through you.
Yes,
Prana.
yes.
Through the
Ha.
prana.
Through the prana.
Hmm.
See, anyway, we are passing through life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But can we make it in a way that it goes in a smooth way where we can control, if not achieve everything, but we can control the situations to a certain extent that we hold the capacity to change it into a positive result.
Got it. Hmm.
That is the basic aim
Hmm.
for
समझ गया.
anybody's life. We all want that.
Hmm.
So here, hatha yoga and breathing and every form of yoga that you can think comes into picture, and a very major component is Ayurvedic diet.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yoga and Ayurveda are two streams which are interconnected. Without yoga, there is no point of following Ayurveda, and without Ayurveda, you cannot get the results also that yoga can give you.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think that is how, I saw the results, then I started believing in it. And as you said, that when I thought that yes, I can teach it to people, that happened 2 years ago, where I was constantly learning yoga, but at the same time, because it was increasing, my vision and the clarity of mind. And then I thought that no, if it has helped me so much, it should help the people around me as well.
Hmm. 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 Got
So
it.
then I enrolled into teachers training, and now I am a teacher.
Teacher as well. So let's go to the next part of it, and which will be one major chunk of this podcast, and like I'll be really interested. Let's talk about the purpose of chakras in our body and why should we paying attention to them. So let's talk deeper about the chakras, because I know we all know there are seven chakras, energy centers. People talk it, so let's talk up, level up, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
So, firstly, I would say that in Mind Valley podcasts, we would have heard that saying that the body is inside the spirit is not inside the body.
inside the body.
यस
Hmm.
एंड गीता में भी एग्जैक्टली सेम चीज हमको बहुत हजारों सालों पहले हमको पता चल गया था दैट आत्मा न मरती है न पैदा होती है. इट इज जस्ट द ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ एनर्जी फ्रॉम वन फॉर्म टू अनदर विच वी नो इन साइंस.
Hmm. Hmm. Right.
So to gain that knowledge, a lot of people have traveled from the west to India over the years, and they have also made their own ways of extracting that energy. So chakras are the energy centers, which everybody can utilize. I would say Eastern knowledge going to the West and they also devising their own ways is also not wrong in a way, because ultimately you are doing what a human being can do.
Hmm. Got it. Got
Human
it.
being is a special entity as compared to other animals or other smaller forms of life, where you have the conscious choice of taking in negative energy which you have, let us say, accumulated over the years,
Ears.
but then you have the control and the choice of putting it out of your body by converting it into positive energy. So, for that, chakras are the main components in the body, which are, like a fan, or you can imagine it like wheels. So, they are the energy converting centers in our body. When we say seven chakras, so from the bottom till the up, let us imagine like in a machine how there are, let us say, seven wheels. Now, to pull them and to channelize them, we can imagine the breath to be like a pulley rope which is going upwards and downwards with our breath, and it is making that machine work.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that technology is already inside the body. So, when we do chakra meditation, what happens is we are opening those chakras which might have been blocked due to years of stress accumulation and the environment that we live in, because we know that it's so polluted everywhere. The food that we are eating, that is also filled with a lot of toxins these days, and everything which comes with the modern way of living, it puts a lot of burden on the body,
Hmm.
and that might result in the blockage. So once we clear it, then we will be able to function in a much proper way. Yeah.
Hmm.
So for that, when we there are two ways. Okay. When we do any asanas are breaking the physical accumulated stress in the body. When we see obesity or aging, they are just the signs of collected stress.
Word. True.
Once you reverse the working of your chakra, and you take the, let us say, if there is a dirty cloth, you put it in the washing machine and it comes out shiny. It's the same
So
thing
true.
that your chakra is doing. So when you take all of that with the awareness that I am taking out the negative energy out of my body, that time when you meditate on specific chakras, let us say Mooladhara chakra is inactive for somebody, and it is causing a lot of insecurity, instability, anger, those kind of feelings. Now if we balance that chakra, the person will become more active, more stable in taking their decisions, more powerful in their own belief. So something which can change the person like this are those chakras. So
Hmm.
every chakra has a different quality to it. We, you know, all those things.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, this is how chakra actually works. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of meditations are available. A lot of
Okay.
different yogic postures are there, which
Hmm.
can activate specific chakras
Hmm. Right.
with time.
Hmm.
So this is the main mechanism of how it happens.
Okay. So can you like let's list out some ways where you can start? One of them you so told is asanas, right? That is one of the ways. Other ways could be there could be few more ways that you can tell to the audience. Yeah. Hmm.
See, every chakra will have a set of preparatory asanas. Once we do that, we go into the meditation part of it, where
Okay.
comes the major thing of belief. First, you have to believe that there is an energy center of a specific color with a specific energy and a specific frequency at which it is, vibrating or working. Yeah. So once you know that, and then you concentrate specifically on that part, and you consciously give the signal to your brain that I am activating that chakra. And during that meditation, when you say the specific beej mantra of the
Hmm.
specific chakra, you are bringing that chakra into the same vibration, and you are also syncing with the vibration of the chakra.
Both are interconnected.
Yes, yes. It's like you are giving a signal from there, and if you are getting the same signal from there, so then it's a sync.
Hmm. Hmm. Got
So,
it.
yeah. So that is how you would, bring your chakra into activity
Hmm.
and find the results in a very, you have to be very, very open in receiving. First thing is that when you are
Okay.
open in receiving what the energy the chakra is bringing,
Hmm.
you will automatically see that you will be able to release the energy which was blocking it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And once that happens, then you know that yes, there is a mechanism which I can use. So now you know the physical aspect of it, you know the subtle aspect of it. So now that's it. The person has to bring it to action. Doing the action is our work. Doing the sadhana,
Hmm.
having a proper routine, being aware of every step that we are taking, that hard work we have to do. Yeah.
Okay. So everything that I mean, basically, you have to take the corresponding action to release that energy from your body, and you can do that by chakra, or like whatever suits you as per that.
Yes. Yes.
Got it, got it. So now let's talk more about like I mean, how to integrate everything, nature,
Hmm.
eco-friendliness,
Hmm.
everything in our like environment, so that we
Hmm.
can genuinely feel that nature and we are one. There is
Yes.
no difference between that. This is nature and this is us.
Yeah. See, our ancestors, we know that they left the nature now, like thousands of years that we are living in a
Hmm.
civilized society,
Hmm.
and especially in the last 200 years, I would say,
Hmm. Hmm.
after the
Hmm. Hmm.
colonization and the industrial
Hmm.
revolution that came,
Hmm.
everybody moved, slowly from a very farm based life to
Hmm.
a very urban setup.
Hmm. Hmm.
Especially our generation, if we remember when we were kids, maybe we were the last generation who even played in the mud.
Ah, right. True.
Yes.
Yeah.
After that you don't see that, even if there are small parks or something, that is also a very artificially made, environment.
Hmm.
You don't get the, animals there, you don't get those plants there which would be exotic of every area. Every local
Hmm.
area will have their own cultivation, right?
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So that connect now is missing.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you know how we say that there is this thing that, until unless, if you haven't grounded yourself enough,
Hmm. Hmm.
then
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
can't
Hmm.
even grow up.
Hmm.
So that grounding only comes when we touch the
Hmm.
earth.
Hmm. True. True. Got it.
Yeah.
Right.
So that is one thing. And like, over the period of time, because we have lost all these things, we have lost a lot of our our body's muscle loss, our body's sensory loss. A lot of diseases or cancers that are happening these days is because we are not in our natural environment. A natural environment is always made to support the life living in it.
Okay.
if you
Hmm.
if you separate yourself from your environment, then the natural conditions for which the body has been adapted over thousands of years of evolution,
Hmm. Hmm.
your
Hmm.
muscles have been made in a particular way, your skin has been made in a particular way, because it fits in that environment.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And in the last 100 years, since we have cut ourselves from that,
Hmm.
maybe because of the western education or the kind of lifestyle that is promoted for a lot of industrial benefits.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So because of that, we don't have those qualities also that a
Hmm.
human was supposed to have,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? There is a book which changed my life. Last year I had read it. It is called The Women Who Run with the Wolves.
Okay.
Yeah. In that book, the
Hmm.
author says that,
Hmm.
you know, if we are building national parks or reservoirs for animals who are endangered, because we know that because we have taken their land, now they don't have any place to stay. So now
Hmm.
their population is decreasing
Hmm.
and they are becoming endangered.
Hmm.
So we as humans are building natural reservoirs for them so that they
Hmm.
few of them can survive there.
Okay.
Now
Hmm.
same thing applies to, she says, humans also. Why do we humans think that after coming out of our natural environment we can also survive the best? That is the
Hmm.
same case, and we also need that natural reservoir, we also need that real environment where we can survive the best.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I would say a reality check to humans that a proper human is also now an endangered species thanks to
She's.
us. So to change that, I think people have to be more aware first, because a lot of people are unaware of the fact that so much of damage has happened because we have grown into a society, which normalizes so many things which are harmful.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think that is the main thing when it comes to our connection with the nature. The more
Hmm.
we go closer towards it, the more we will be able to not only survive the best, but give the best to the planet as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Basically, sustainability.
Sustainability, huh?
Hmm. Hmm.
Sustainability, just we call it eco-friendly living these days.
It is right. Organic living, eco-friendly living,
Yes,
nature living. मतलब
yes.
नाम we have so many names, but yeah,
Yeah.
this were basically पहले के लोग ऐसे ही रहते थे. It's just that
This was
thing
living.
change.
It was not
This was
eco-friendly living. It was living.
it was living. Huh.
Yes.
Now we name it as eco-friendly living or
Yes.
dieting.
Yes.
Basically, it's what we
Yes.
are eating. There is nothing
Yes.
different that we are doing.
Hmm.
So yeah, I got your point. Anything like yeah, we have like mostly 24-25 minutes into the podcast. So I would want to ask you, like, is there something else, like you feel like in continuation with what we discussed, like chakras, eco-friendly living, and being more in touch in nature, like sattvic lifestyle, yogic lifestyle. What do you think should be like three basic things that everyone can start, at least start to be in touch with nature, to be in be like start their journeys, who don't know, like I don't know, I am living in a city life for the longest time, like I don't know where to start with. What should
Yeah.
I do? What are the three things you suggest me?
I would say number one is starting with some physical activity which you are doing outside. Let us say you go to a garden
Hmm.
and you do your workouts or your yoga in at least a garden where you can touch the grass.
Okay.
Yes,
Hmm.
this can be one thing. Then the second thing is making yourself aware of what you are consuming. Consumption is the main key, where I'm not only talking about consumption in terms of food. I am talking about consumption when it comes to what you are watching, what you are reading,
Content.
in which
Hmm.
circle you are, with which kind of people you are working with. All that is consumption. So that you have to choose very, very cautiously. Everything should be something which
Yeah.
supports your body, mind, and soul. All the choices that you make on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Then
Right.
I think the third thing I would say that gain as much as knowledge that you can, and
Yeah.
read as much as you can, so that you and read everything. Don't restrict yourself that just because it is not in coherence with my thinking, then I will totally reject it. No, that is where you have to give more priority on understanding that why does certain beliefs are opposite to me, and then you will realize the importance of accepting the duality. That is why sun and moon, the duality.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And yoga is the
The
thing, yeah, which will help you.
polarity,
Yeah, see that.
polarity, duality. Yeah.
Yes.
Because anyways, there are two aspects, so the polarity should exist so that the nature can coexist.
Ha.
I got your point. I got your point. And I think we were thinking, and I'll wait. I was waiting for that, like a poetry that you want to share at the end of it, and I think then we can wrap up this podcast. So yeah, over to you.
So this poetry I had written when I was in school. In fact, I was in primary at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just finished my sixth or something. So going into middle school. So that time I had written this poetry for the nature only. The title is The Dawn and the Dusk. The dawn and the dusk, the grass and the husk, birds, brooks, and the winds all have something to tell. The early morning lark, the stars in the late evening dark do a magic spell. Admire the beauty of nature. Oh, you foolish human, why do you worry about heaven and hell? The dawn and the dusk, the grass and the husk, the solitary reaper, the old tree's creeper, all have some rising desire, and they win it with pain. The struggling fish in the sea, the hard work of a bee, they all want to go a bit higher, and their fight never goes in vain. If you want, you can get sunshine in the most wet rain. Oh, foolish human, why do you worry about your insane pleasures, which the world doesn't admire? Why don't you let your brain be free and not accumulate rust? See, don't do the harms ever, because the only and only the dawn and dusk are going to be here forever.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Charvi. Amazing.
Thank you.
This was so beautiful. So, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm so glad that it happened. And I'm like, really, it was great talking to you. It was great being in conversation with you.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Stuti. It was my
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And on that note, listeners, stay happy, stay blessed, and most importantly, stay grateful. I will see another one. Bye.